Hi there, Serial Trader here. I'll do a quick update on SPX. And since the last video, we did in fact have a nice bottom to pivot off of as of Friday last week. And we had a nice explosive move upwards. And my cue to take my longs off the table was when we got to this 50% retracement as well as filling this gap. That's the first gap to fill on that daily chart. Obviously the second gap is higher up here. We may still get closer to that area, but not in a straight line. Anyway, my cue to take the longs off the table and wait for some sort of pullback was getting to that gap fill, hitting that 50% retrace. You see we spiked above it briefly. And also just the fact that we had a nice mature 5-wave sequence off the bottom. And then I was going to wait for a corrective pullback, and I did, but it only took a matter of hours. Just the way things are moving, everything's kind of on fast forward. Things that might normally take multiple days or weeks can happen in minutes and hours right now. So that's excellent for trading. But now I'm already back into some long positions. Now I didn't go as heavy this time, but I do still like the fact that we're backing off from a 5-wave move up. So that denotes that the larger trend off that pivot is to the upside. So with a 5 up and a 3 down that we're working here, we either have one in place or it's still forming. That would suggest another 5 waves up, and that would potentially complete a larger 3-wave move to correct this 5 waves down for either that larger B wave or second wave, and then that'll be a more interesting area to position some bearish bets for the downside. But for now, I am looking higher and I am positioned that way. If we get a little bit more of a pullback here, I'll even go a little bit more aggressive on the long positioning, but I've already got a decent, let's call it appetizer size position, and we'll see if I upgrade it to the main course, but see what tomorrow brings. But what I was going to point out there is, okay, now that we have the 5 waves up, after we start backing it off there, I had my Fibonacci retracement up today, and let me just take off those ones. And you can see we got to that 50% retracement off of our initial 5 waves up off the bottom, and didn't quite get down to the 618. Certainly wouldn't rule out getting down to the 618 tomorrow, but this is certainly a reasonable area for a reversal and another impulse wave to the upside to finish us off. So this is what I'm anticipating, and that would be once we do find a low here, if we haven't already done so as of today's low, that we'll get a nice impulse wave up here to complete a larger C wave of either a B or a 2. And depends how high up we go here. If we get to the 61.8% retrace and start backing off there, that'll be interesting. Certainly a nice area to back off from. But if we are going to try and at least test this upper gap, not necessarily fill it, because that'd be quite deep to fill it, but if we are going to test it, then we might start getting closer to that 786 retracement. But we'll see how things react once we get closer to those areas. I'll just take some of this clutter off here, and I'll take off at least that little fib retracement, just so it's not so messy. Now, if I go in here on a 15-minute price chart, you get some pretty good clarity out of that. So you can see a nice non-overlapping 5-wave sequence up, a little more detail here on the 15-minute chart. And so far, you do see a nice corrective looking, what counts nicely as a 3-wave decline thus far. And again, pivoting off that fib zone, again, between the 50% and 61.8% retracement area. So it wouldn't surprise me at all if we've already started our initial impulse wave up for this larger C wave that we're going to do. But I think that's the play here. So certainly pulled some nice money out of that bounce from Friday, that what ended up developing to a nice 5-wave impulse move off the bottom. Pulled some nice coin out of that. Got out of the way largely of this decline, and now repositioning for the next move up. So that's where things are at here on a short-term basis. You got to be quick in this market. Once you see a clear pattern, clear setup, you can't hesitate, because seconds and minutes count when things are moving like this. Okay, that's I think all I wanted to go through Just a nice little short video. Let's see how the rest of the week goes. Certainly gunning for another wave up and a deeper fib retracement of this overall move down. All right, Serial Trader signing off.